One thing I always say is work smarter, not harder. If you aren't using the Solo app, then you may be working harder. So let's change that. Download the app, link your accounts where you can manage your income, track your expenses, and project your taxes. Not only that, but you can plan by optimizing your time, make more, and even guarantee your daily pay with guaranteed earnings. Download Solo and begin to work smarter, not harder today. Link is in the description. All right, let's get back to it.
Well, speaking of easy money, let's talk about what happens when Uber and Lyft get a nice little insurance break. But the reality is they don't pass those savings on to drivers or even passengers. Yeah. The data is in, the data is out.
Okay, so put the other one first, the next one, because that's
I think this goes 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, it does? Okay.
I put them in order.
Oh, okay. There you go. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we talked about this last week, right? Gridwise, great partner of ours. Ryan Green, the CEO of Gridwise, good friend. He's been on the show multiple times. They came out with their findings for the first quarter, and it coincides with what the company said because they passed these laws, pushed these laws in California specifically to lower insurance rates. Because they've been complaining commercial insurance rates are out of control in California. I'm like, okay, cool. So they lied, they did whatever they did, and Consumer Watchdog is saying they lied, and we don't know where that's going to go. But the point was, Gridwise said, correct, their insurance rates, costs went down over 20%. In fact, in the West platform, okay, so the charts, Chris will read the charts or explain the charts to you guys, but insurance costs to the companies fell. And last week we talked about it to the tune of about 20.5%. That's a big chunk. And Gridwise figured out, looking at their data, they only passed along 0.6%, or was it 1.6%, to the driver. And we talked about this, David Risher saying they're going to save over $200 million by lowering insurance rates, and they're going to pass it along to the drivers. Well, obviously that didn't happen. So I went to Ryan and said, well, Ryan, okay, so they saved 20+% on insurance premiums. They only gave the drivers about 1.6%. But what happened to the riders? Did they lower the fares on the riders? Well, here's the answer. There you go, buddy.
Yep. So you got, first off, the other screenshot too is talking about the platform fees rose. So you have them rising 29.1% while the insurance dropped 20.6%. But the thing is, that's across the board. So each line that you see is by region. So you got West, Midwest, Northeast, Southeast, and I forget the other one. But you see across the board that the platform fees increased. So across the board, from October to January, you could see that everything just went up. So if you're trying to get an Uber and Lyft as a passenger, you're seeing higher prices between those times, probably higher even now. But at the same time, you see on the next screenshot, that 2 out of 4 there, it shows that big black line that just goes right down. That's because that's where the insurance drops. So you can see it's a little bit more in line with the rest of the country, but not really. And then we'll move on to the next couple of screenshots. Rider prices still went up. So it says that even with the decline, rider prices in the West rose 3.4%. So the fare did not get cheaper. So you see that. And then insurance became a smaller piece of the fare. So insurance as a share of the customer price fell to 16.6%. So the insurance line got smaller, but the rest of the fare did not. So who benefited from this? Uber and Lyft.
It's pretty clear here to me. Conclusion is they are pocketing all that money. So, Mr. Risher, with all due respect, here's our data. Where's yours? We talked about it last week. You said we're going to save at least $200 million by lowering insurance rates, and we're going to pay drivers more. Well, that did not happen. Then we would have thought you would have lowered the rider fares. Not only it didn't go down, they went up 3.6%. And I'm going like, whoa. So, and the take rate, which is the service fee or whatever you guys say, that's up to 29.1%. So
Yeah,
all the numbers are going this way for them, and the other.
And with that data, we got about a month until Uber and Lyft's quarterly report comes out.
Well,
and their quarter call. So, I wonder what they're going to say about that call.
I already said I bought no stock, so.
Yeah, I can only imagine what the data is going to look like when they release that. When it comes to
they're pocketing all that money, folks. They are, and data is data. Clear. It's pretty clear.
But I mean, to be fair, if you had a business and you had to charge X dollars for your business, and all of a sudden one of your things just got cheaper because of whatever reason, would you pass all of that savings on to the customers that you service, or would you just be like, oh, I got a little bit of an extra pay bump here because that went down my costs associated with something, so we're going to keep it where it was?
Well, I would do that, of course, as a corporate entity. And you said something.
No. I'm talking about as a business owner. Whether you're a corporate entity or a business owner, what would you do? You are going to likely keep your rates or prices exactly where they were. And then you're going to say, okay, my cost of doing business just went down a little bit out of this sector.
Yeah. Well,
so I mean, it's common business, and you're not going to necessarily pass the savings on to the customer, wherever they may be, whether it's an Uber or Lyft, or whether it's a rake company. So don't be surprised that data shows exactly that.
Yeah. Well, it shows that the money is going to them. Done.
Yep.
That's the conclusion we came up with. Thank you, Gridwise, for doing the work as usual. And
well, my hypothesis was that it was exactly that it played out exactly as is.
Yeah.
So
well,
just confirmed it.
Why is there a massive class action lawsuit after yeah, well, let's hold off on that for a second. You guys are really quick in like all these words of class action lawsuits. There was another comment that was like fraud. I'm like, bro, these people are not dumb. They wouldn't commit fraud if they willingly anyway. If Uber originally insured us under a commercial policy and deducted payments as if we were covered, okay, but actually wrote their own in-house policy to cover us, no, it's not fraud at all. It happens in franchisor models all the time. Let's say you're going to go buy a Subway. The mothership sells you insurance, and they have a right to bump that insurance when they sell it to their franchisee. Now, you can go get your own insurance, but then it happens all the time. Like we've been on this for a while. We're going to figure this out at the end. And I think it's coming to an end, but we'll see,
All right, thanks for watching. That short little clip was from our live stream, Show Me the Money Club with Sergio and myself, Tuesdays, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. Make sure you subscribe, turn on all notifications so you'll be notified when we go live, as well as all of our awesome content. Make sure to check out this video right here, which will take you to the entire live stream, or check out this video right there. All right, drive smart, everyone.